All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into Monday.com, and they're making some pretty big claims about streamlining work
Yeah,
and maybe even making you love it.
making you love work.
Yeah, making you love work. And we've got a bunch of their marketing materials
Straight from the website.
straight from the website, so we're going to break it all down for you today.
It's interesting because they're not just pitching themselves as another project management tool.
Right.
They're aiming to be like the platform you need to manage like every aspect of your work.
Oh, wow. So not even just making my to-do list, but running my entire business through Monday.com.
That's what they're saying.
That's a big swing.
That's the big idea.
Where do they even begin with something that broad?
Well, they're highlighting all sorts of different teams that they cater to,
Okay.
like marketing and sales, IT, HR, like you name it.
Wow.
Yeah. And they break it down by business size and industry as well.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're really trying to cover all their bases.
They're saying, hey, whatever work you're doing, we got you covered. But how does that actually play out in reality? Do they have different tools for each team, or is it all just one giant platform?
That's where it gets kind of interesting. They've got this section called What Would You Like to Manage? And it really shows you how they're trying to be that one-stop shop for everything.
Okay.
We're talking like your basic tasks and projects, but then also like full-blown CRM, software development management,
Yeah.
and even things like marketing campaign tracking.
Whole CRM, what does that even stand for?
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management.
Okay.
So it's basically a system for managing all of your interactions with
Okay.
customers,
Gotcha.
keeping track of leads and deals, communications, the whole shebang.
Okay.
A lot of companies use separate CRM software, so it is interesting that Monday.com is trying to like integrate that functionality into their platform.
So they're going beyond just project management into like managing entire departments or even business functions.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But how does someone actually use this thing? They keep mentioning flexibility as a key feature.
Yeah, and they really hammer that point home.
Okay.
They're talking about being flexible to the extreme with like drag and drop functionality, letting you tailor the platform to your specific needs.
Oh, interesting.
You know how some project management tools kind of force you into their rigid templates?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Like with Monday.com, you can just drag and drop elements and create a workflow that mirrors how your team actually operates.
So no more wrestling with a tool that just doesn't quite fit your style of working.
Right.
I can see how that'd be a big win, especially for teams that work in very specific ways.
For sure. And they give some specific examples like structuring a project to match how your team thinks or building automated workflows that take care of those tedious, repetitive tasks.
Okay, so automated workflows, that's starting to sound a bit more high-tech. Are we talking like robots taking over our jobs here?
Not quite robots, but they are dipping their toes into the AI world.
Okay.
They mention AI-driven workflows, and I'm curious to see how that plays out in practice.
AI-driven workflows sounds very futuristic.
It does.
Can you break that down for me a little bit? Like, how does that work in practice?
Yeah, so think of it this way. Imagine you're launching a marketing campaign.
Okay.
Monday.com's AI can analyze past campaign data to predict which channels will be most effective.
Wow.
So that potentially saves you hours of manual research.
That's really cool.
Or let's say you're working on a software development project.
Okay.
Their AI can help prioritize tasks and even identify potential roadblocks so you can deliver faster and more efficiently.
So it's not just automating tasks, it's using AI to like give you insights
Exactly.
and help you make smarter decisions.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, especially if it can like take some of the mental load off your shoulders.
that's a big part of their appeal, I think. But before we get too swept up in all the AI hype, let's take a step back
Okay.
and look at how Monday.com is positioning itself in the broader like work management landscape.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're not content with just being a project management tool.
Right, we were just talking about CRM being integrated. Are they branching out into other areas as well?
They are. They've got specialized products like Monday CRM, which we touched on, but also Monday Dev, which is aimed at managing software development.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
So not just building the software, but managing the entire development process within Monday.com.
That's the idea.
That's ambitious.
It is very ambitious. And they even have Monday Service, which is still in beta,
Oh, wow.
but it's aimed at streamlining customer support and service operations.
So they're really building out like a whole suite of tools
Yeah.
that are all designed to work together seamlessly.
It's the all-in-one approach.
I can see how that would be really appealing for businesses that are looking to simplify their tech stack and have everything in one place.
Yeah.
But of course, we can't just take Monday.com's word for it. How do we know if they can actually deliver on all these promises?
That's where things get interesting.
They've got a lot of impressive claims, but we need to look beyond the marketing sheen and see if they hold up under scrutiny.
Okay, so where do we start with that?
Let's dive into the customer testimonials and industry recognition they've gathered.
Oh, yeah, they've got a ton of those sprinkled throughout their website.
Yeah, they do.
Quotes from happy customers, stats about ROI, case studies about how Monday.com has supposedly transformed entire businesses.
Yeah,
It's a lot to take in.
it is, and it's definitely a smart strategy. Testimonials can be really persuasive, especially if they come from companies you recognize and respect.
Right.
They give you that peek into how Monday.com is actually being used
Yeah.
and what kind of results people are seeing.
Like they have a quote that says, Monday.com has enabled our group to launch more product categories and expand into more markets in way less time.
Yeah, that's a bold claim.
That's a pretty bold claim.
And they're not just relying on anecdotal evidence either. They also cite data from reputable sources like Forrester, which is a leading research and advisory firm.
Gotcha.
They highlight this study that shows a 346% ROI for Motorola using Monday.com.
346% ROI.
That's what they're saying.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's not just someone saying they like the platform. That's quantifiable evidence of its impact.
Wow.
And they've also been recognized as a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, which is another well-respected industry benchmark.
Okay.
They've earned this recognition for both collaborative work management and adaptive project management and reporting,
Wow.
which suggests that they're being taken seriously by industry analysts.
Okay, so it sounds like you're getting some serious recognition from both customers and industry experts, but I'm guessing we shouldn't just stop there, right?
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
While these testimonials and accolades are impressive,
Right.
it's crucial to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay.
We need to remember that these are carefully curated marketing materials.
Yay.
They're designed to present Monday.com in the best possible light.
Yeah.
And while they can be valuable insights, they're only one piece of the puzzle.
So what's the next piece? How do we get a more balanced perspective on Monday.com?
Well, that's where you come in, dear listener.
Oh, okay.
We always encourage you to do your own research.
Yes.
To dig a little deeper and to look beyond the marketing hype.
So don't just take our word for it.
Or Monday.com's word for it.
Yeah, go out there, read reviews from other users, and see what people are saying about their real-world experiences with the platform.
Exactly. Because every tool has its strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And what works wonders for one company might not be the perfect fit for another.
For sure.
The key is to gather as much information as possible and to make an informed decision based on your specific needs and context.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here in part one.
Yeah, we have.
We've explored Monday.com's ambitions to be this all-encompassing work platform, their emphasis on flexibility and customization, and their foray into AI-powered workflows. We've also seen how they're leveraging customer testimonials and industry recognition to build credibility.
Right.
But there's still more to uncover, right?
Absolutely. In part two, we'll dig a little deeper into the potential downsides of platforms like Monday.com.
Oh, okay.
We'll also explore their claims about making work more enjoyable
Interesting.
and whether a tool can really transform the way we experience our jobs.
Stay tuned because we're just getting started.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. So in
Sure.
the first part, we spent some time unpacking Monday.com's
That's right,
features,
yeah.
like their flexible workflows and all those AI tools they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to get into something that really stood out to me in their marketing materials. It was this whole vibe of making work lovable.
Oh, yeah.
Is that even possible?
It's a big question.
Yeah,
Can a platform actually make you enjoy your job more?
right.
I'm intrigued, but also a little skeptical.
Me too, because their marketing is full of these bright colors and smiling people.
Oh, yeah.
And that general, we're going to make work fun energy.
The whole, Silicon Valley vibe.
Right. They use phrases like easy to love and intuitive adoption. It's very upbeat and positive.
It is, yeah.
So do you think there's anything to that, or is it just clever marketing?
Well, I think if we look at the features they're highlighting,
Okay.
there's definitely a focus on making work smoother
Okay.
and more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
They talk a lot about, eliminating unnecessary friction
Okay.
and empowering teams to collaborate better.
Right.
So maybe their thinking is, if you remove all those pain points,
Yeah.
if work becomes less of a hassle,
Okay.
then maybe you might start to enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like that feeling when you finally get organized and everything is running smoothly, you feel less stressed and more
Yeah,
in control.
exactly.
But maybe that translates to actually enjoying the work a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's what Monday.com is banking on, at that like psychological impact.
Okay.
They're saying, hey, use our platform,
Yeah.
streamline your work, and you might just find yourself dreading those Monday mornings a little bit less.
I like that idea.
But we also have to acknowledge the limits of what technology can do,
Oh, for sure.
right? Like a platform can't magically solve all your work problems
Yeah.
or make a boring job suddenly fascinating.
Exactly.
Ultimately, finding joy in your work depends on a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you find the work itself meaningful? How's the company culture, your relationship with your colleagues, work-life balance? Like, it's complicated.
It's a lot more than just the tools you're using.
Right.
So while Monday.com might be able to create a more positive environment for work,
Yeah.
it's not a guarantee of happiness.
Right.
It's more like they're setting the stage.
Okay.
But the play itself still depends on you and the company you work for.
I like that analogy.
Okay, good.
Another thing that stood out to me in their marketing
Yeah.
was this heavy emphasis on customer testimonials and case studies.
Oh, yeah.
They are everywhere on their website.
They're everywhere. You got happy customers singing their praises and stats
Yeah.
about how much money they've saved and detailed breakdowns of how Monday.com has supposedly transformed entire businesses.
Right. It's like a constant stream of success stories.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And it's a smart tactic, I have to admit.
Oh, yeah.
These testimonials, they build trust and credibility.
Mm-hmm.
They give potential customers a glimpse into how Monday.com is actually being used in the real world and what kind of results are possible.
Like that quote we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Monday.com has enabled our group to launch more product categories and expand into more markets in way less time.
That's a big one.
It makes you think, hey, if they can do it, maybe we can too.
Right. And they're not just relying on those anecdotal evidence either.
Okay.
They're bringing in data
Yeah.
from those reputable sources, like Forrester. Remember that study showing a whopping 346% ROI for Motorola?
Yeah, that's a big number.
It's one thing to say you like a platform, but when you see hard numbers like that,
Yeah,
it makes you pay attention.
for sure. But as savvy consumers of information,
Yes,
we also need to remember that these testimonials are carefully chosen and presented.
of course.
It's marketing.
It is.
So we're only seeing the positive side of the story. So while these success stories can be inspiring, we shouldn't just take them at face value.
No,
We need to dig a little deeper look for a more balanced perspective.
always a good idea.
Do your own research. Read reviews from other users. Look for independent analysis.
Yeah.
And see what people are saying who aren't being paid to promote the platform.
Right, because you want to get the full picture, not just the glossy marketing version.
Exactly. So we've talked about the positive side of Monday.com's pitch.
Yeah.
The potential for increased efficiency, better collaboration, maybe even a bit more joy in your workday.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be realistic here. There's got to be a flip side to this, right?
Oh, there always is.
Okay, good. I was hoping you'd say that.
In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore the potential downsides of platforms like Monday.com.
Okay. I'm interested to hear this.
We'll look at the risks of relying too heavily on technology, the possibility of information overload,
That's a good one.
and that tricky balance between customization and complexity.
Yeah, because like any powerful tool,
Right.
Monday.com has the potential for both positive and negative impacts.
Exactly.
So stay with us as we unpack all the complexities of this work tech revolution.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Monday.com.
Yeah.
We've gone through their vision of making work lovable
Mm-hmm.
and dug into some of those features and customer stories.
Yeah, all the marketing stuff.
Right. But now it's time to get real. Are there any potential downsides?
Oh, there's always downsides
okay.
to using a platform like this.
Like what are we thinking?
I think one of the big ones, and this is true for a lot of powerful tools,
Okay.
is the risk of becoming too reliant on technology.
I can see that it's easy to get caught up in that idea of everything
Get
being
super streamlined.
streamlined and automated and like buttoned up.
Oh, for sure.
But are we losing something if we hand over too much control to like algorithms and dashboards?
It's a valid concern, and I think we can't forget the value of human connection and intuition in the workplace.
Oh, absolutely. You know those moments of like collaboration and creative problem solving and like spontaneous inspiration?
Yeah.
A lot of the times those happen in the spaces between the structured tasks and workflows.
Where you can't really automate the water cooler moments,
Right, exactly.
where a random conversation sparks like a brilliant idea
Right, or where your gut feeling ends up being a better decision than like
than all the data.
all the data analysis in the world.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
I think using technology to support our work, but not to dictate every single step.
Right.
We want to use these tools to free up our time and energy so we can focus on the things that humans do best,
Ah,
the things that AI can't replicate.
the uniquely human stuff.
Exactly.
You know what else worries me a bit? It's the potential for information overload.
Oh, yeah.
Monday.com brings together so much data in one place.
It does.
Is it possible to have too much information?
Oh, absolutely. It's like having a million browser tabs open in your brain.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You're constantly bombarded with notifications and updates and reminders, and it can be so distracting.
And exhausting.
Yeah.
Like when I feel overwhelmed by information, it's so hard to focus
Yeah.
or make decisions or even just think creatively.
Right. And that can actually lead to decreased productivity,
Wow.
which is the opposite of what these platforms are supposed to be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's important to be mindful of how we use these tools. Set some boundaries.
Okay.
Filter the information you're exposed to and prioritize clarity over clutter.
Less is more sometimes.
Definitely don't let the tool control you.
Okay, now we've talked a lot about Monday.com and their emphasis on customization, building that platform to fit your team's unique needs.
Mm.
But could all that flexibility actually backfire in some cases?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, customization is powerful, but too much of it can lead to chaos.
Okay.
Imagine every team within a company creates a totally different Monday.com setup.
Oh,
They're all using the same platform, but they're practically speaking different languages.
that sounds like a nightmare for collaboration.
Exactly. You'd have to constantly be translating between systems. Information would get lost in the cracks.
And you'd lose all the benefits of using the platform in the first place.
Exactly. So while customization is great, it needs to be implemented thoughtfully.
Yeah.
There need to be some shared standards and guidelines
Okay.
to make sure that everyone is at least working within the same framework.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Right.
Enough flexibility to meet everyone's needs, but enough structure to keep everyone on the same page.
Exactly.
Okay, so one last thought here. We've been talking about this whole idea of Monday.com making work lovable. But let's be honest, there are limits to what technology can actually do.
Of course.
True job satisfaction runs deeper than just having a fancy project management tool,
I completely agree with you there.
right?
Meaningful work, a sense of purpose, feeling valued by your company, having strong relationships with colleagues.
Yeah,
Those are the things that really make a job satisfying.
absolutely.
And those things come from the culture of the organization, not just the tools that you're using.
So Monday.com might be able to make your work easier,
Yeah,
but it can't necessarily make it more meaningful.
that's a much bigger question.
Right.
And the answer lies within ourselves and the companies we choose to work for.
Well said. Okay, so let's wrap up our deep dive into Monday.com. What are the key takeaways for our listeners today?
So we've learned that Monday.com is this powerful platform
Yes.
with a lot to offer. It's incredibly flexible. It integrates AI in some really interesting ways. And it has a pretty proven track record of success with a lot of companies.
Definitely.
But it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
And there are potential downsides to think about,
Yeah.
like that over-reliance on technology information overload and the potential complexities of all that customization.
So listener, if you're considering Monday.com,
Yeah.
go into it with your eyes wide open.
Yeah, do your research, understand those potential benefits, but also the risks. And most importantly, make sure that it aligns with your values and your goals.
It's not just about the shiny new platform. It's
Yeah.
about what makes work truly meaningful and satisfying for you.
Well said. That's a great point to end on.
Technology can be an amazing tool,
It can.
but it's up to us to use it wisely and thoughtfully.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Monday.com.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.